What if the entire global economy is actually just a massive psychological illusion? You work hard and save your money like a responsible, educated adult. You deeply trust that massive global financial markets operate on pure, cold math. You think stock market prices simply reflect actual, undeniable corporate business reality. But what if the market is actually just perfectly reflecting our collective human panic? When the news is terrifying, people completely stop spending their cash immediately. When people stop spending, businesses violently collapse and workers get fired. When workers lose their jobs, the terrible news gets even more terrifying. What if our deepest collective fears literally create the exact crashes we desperately fear? If you click away right now, you will remain completely financially blind. You will constantly panic every single time the unpredictable global stock market suddenly dips. Wake up, because your thoughts are literally actively building the future economy right now. In this video, I will completely change how you view modern global economics. I will give you three exact frameworks to truly understand market psychology. You will learn exactly how your daily beliefs actively create actual financial reality. I will show you the massive, hidden truth about government market intervention. By the end of this video, you will stop panicking over daily market news. You will clearly understand exactly why stock crashes are actually deeply self-fulfilling prophecies. You will see why leaving the free market completely alone is a massive mistake. And I will give you the specific blueprint to protect your wealth from panic. This is not a highly complex, confusing academic lecture on advanced calculus. This is a masterclass in how human psychology completely dominates the global financial system. Pay very close attention, because understanding this specific psychological loop will save your wealth. The mind-bending book we are aggressively breaking down today is How the Economy Works. It was written by a brilliant, highly acclaimed global economist named Roger Farmer. Why should you listen to him instead of some loud, fake internet finance guru? Farmer is a highly respected professor at the prestigious University of Warwick and UCLA. He literally served as the senior Hublon Norman Fellow at the massive Bank of England. He wrote this incredibly powerful book specifically for a completely normal general audience. He wanted to beautifully synthesize two completely opposing, highly rigid historical economic theories. Classical economics fiercely claims the massive market will naturally always perfectly correct itself. Keynesian economics loudly argues that free markets are deeply flawed and need heavy guidance. Farmer combined them into a totally new, highly revolutionary view of human wealth. He realized that our collective human beliefs literally function as pure economic fundamentals. The first major concept completely destroys how you view normal stock market prices. Society constantly tells you that asset prices perfectly reflect true underlying business value. But Farmer argues that human beliefs are actually an entirely independent economic force. He introduces the incredibly powerful psychological concept of the belief function. Your deep beliefs about the future completely determine exactly how you act today. If massive investors suddenly deeply believe the stock market is absolutely going to crash, they immediately violently sell off all of their massive, highly valuable global assets. This massive sudden panic selling actually causes the exact crash they deeply feared. Let me give you my brutally honest personal take on this terrifying reality. The global stock market is not a perfectly balanced, deeply logical mathematical machine. It is a highly emotional, constantly manic depressive psychological mob of terrified humans. If you simply follow the massive screaming crowd, you will absolutely get crushed completely. You must aggressively detach your personal financial decisions from the massive global panic cycle. The second major concept is understanding how fear creates highly persistent, massive unemployment. Classical economists wrongly claim that high unemployment will simply naturally fix itself eventually. They claim workers will naturally just accept significantly lower wages until companies hire again. But Farmer proves why this old classical view is completely, dangerously, historically wrong. When the highly volatile stock market crashes, massive global corporate wealth violently disappears. people immediately feel significantly poorer, so they completely stop buying daily consumer goods. When massive consumer demand completely disappears, terrified companies immediately stop hiring new workers. This completely breaks the massive employment engine and creates a permanently stuck, broken economy. Farmer mathematically proves that incredibly high unemployment can actually persist as a permanent state. The economy will absolutely not simply magically heal itself if everyone remains completely terrified. To actually create completely new jobs, you absolutely must first deeply restore consumer confidence. If the people remain completely scared, the entire global financial machine simply stays frozen. This brings us to the most controversial and highly powerful idea in the book: the absolute massive necessity of active government intervention in the volatile stock market. This will completely shatter your current paradigm if you love pure, unregulated free markets. Farmer argues that the government absolutely must actively step in to stop massive crashes, because market crashes are simply driven by raw panic. The government must restore confidence. He proposes a highly radical idea. The central bank should actively stabilize asset prices. They should literally actively buy massive amounts of stocks during terrifying deep market crashes. This immediately stops the terrifying psychological freefall and completely restores massive public confidence. When the terrified public sees the market stabilize, they immediately start spending cash again. When they slowly start spending again, completely new jobs are rapidly, naturally created. Farmer proves the massive question is not actually whether to regulate the free market. The massive question is simply exactly how to intelligently regulate the highly emotional market. So, what is my absolute honest personal review of this highly academic financial book? The absolute best thing about how the economy works is its massive psychological clarity. Farmer beautifully bridges the massive gap between highly dense math and raw human emotion. He proves that your daily thoughts literally actively build the entire global financial reality. Is there a massive flaw or something the brilliant professor completely missed? His massive proposal for the government to constantly buy stocks is deeply, highly controversial. Many smart investors fiercely believe this massive intervention completely destroys true market price discovery. It basically legally forces the government to permanently artificially prop up failing corporate businesses. But who exactly is this incredibly deep, mind-bending macroeconomic book actually written for? If you are deeply terrified by sudden stock market crashes, you must read this. If you genuinely want to understand how deep global financial panics actually work, read this. This amazing book is the ultimate red pill for understanding pure market psychology entirely. Now, it is finally time to completely detach your wealth from the terrified mob. Here are three highly actionable, completely zero-cost steps you can take tomorrow morning. Step 1. Immediately stop completely reacting to the highly toxic, deeply terrifying daily financial news cycle. Realize that the massive media actively profits by keeping you in a terrified panic. Step 2. Aggressively build a massive personal cash emergency fund entirely, completely outside the volatile market. When you hold massive cash, you do not have to panic sell during crashes. Step 3. Completely ignore the terrifying, massive short-term psychological swings of the chaotic global stock market. Simply consistently, aggressively buy high-quality, deeply boring, broad global index funds entirely forever. You literally, absolutely have the exact power to build massive, invisible generational wealth today. But you must immediately aggressively stop completely participating in the massive, fearful, psychological mob. If you genuinely absolutely want the full breakdown of this strategy, I have something. Download the completely free PDF summary of this amazing book in the description below. If this highly psychological video completely changed your perspective, violently smash that subscribe button. You can also directly buy me a cup of coffee using the simple link below. Until next time, keep aggressively controlling your psychology and build massive FU money.